Welcome into Lock In Live for NFL Week 2 with Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil, how's it going this morning?
Good, man. Still felt like yesterday was kind of the breakout day. Went 5-2 on my notebook picks overall. Really crushed the man yesterday. Kind of felt like this day was coming. Feel like this is the day for NFL as well, man. I'm really hyped about today. And look, I don't usually hype things up. I'm always excited about football, but when I'm really excited about my picks, I try to let you guys know. And I'm really excited about my picks today. You may not, because some of them are really ugly. I think that some of the picks today are not very attractive. I think that some of them might even make you want to throw up. But some of the ones that make you throw up are the ones that are probably going to be your best plays of the day.
Absolutely. It's usually how it goes.
Yep.
Uncle Phil, after a 5-2 yesterday, and you're really heating up, let's just get right into it. Where are you heading first?
Yeah, first place I'm headed down to Miami. You've got New England coming to town. Miami's kind of in disarray. A lot of people are coming in on Miami just because it's Miami and surely they're going to turn around. Miami, let me tell you first, Miami's a bad culture. It's not happening. McDaniel made a mistake. He built the team from the outside in. The offensive line's the problem. The problem with that is pressure. What does New England bring, especially under Vrabel, is he brings a lot of pressure. They're up 13% compared to last year as far as pressure. That's a problem for Tua. The other problem is their tackle Jackson is out for this game. Big deal. Statistically, all their success rates drop when Jackson is out. You're going to give me the better team, the better roster, the better coach, and you're going to give me points. I'll take it every day. Give me New England plus 2.5. Next place we're going to Cincinnati, where Jacksonville comes to town. Which team is for real? I saw everything I needed to see again last week from Cincinnati. Cincinnati had negative yards in the fourth quarter and only 7 total yards in the entire second half. And that's against Cleveland. Guys, I love Joe Burrow more than anybody here, or as much as. But I'm going to take Jacksonville plus 3.5. I like what Liam Cohen's doing. Granted, it was against Carolina last week, so we don't fully know, and week 1 kind of lies to you, as I've kind of told you guys. But I do think I trust, if you're going to give me the hook, I'll take Jacksonville 3.5 to at least cover. Wouldn't be surprised if they win outright. Just so you guys know, Joe Burrow is 0-5 in his career in week 2 in the NFL. Hard to believe, but that's true. Just again, another slow start. Zach Taylor supposedly played them. They got all up and running in the preseason. They didn't look that way last week against Cleveland. Cleveland should have won that game. Joe Flacco threw 2 interceptions. But those were both off the hands of Cincinnati wide receivers, and both should have been caught. That's the issue. I don't think Cincinnati's that lucky today. Take Jacksonville plus the points. Those are my 2 best bets today. My bonus pick and my 12 other picks, again, I just couldn't narrow down the notebook, are at UnclePhil'sLocks.com.
Sweet. And how many of those are teasers and player props?
Yeah. I've got 6 sides and totals. I've got 2 player props, and I've got 4 primetime teasers.
Love it. Looking forward to all those games in the notebook and the 2 plays you just gave out publicly. Should be another great day.
Yep.
But let's get to the next best part of the show, which is the questions from our great community. And if you haven't asked already, you feel free to shoot in the chat and we'll get to your questions. But first on the line, we got Andreas. Andreas, good to see you, brother. He says, would love your thoughts on my New York Giants today against the Cowboys.
Look, I stayed off that game. I really liked the Cowboys on that game, just because I think Russell Wilson is cooked. His completion percentage was the lowest passing completion percentage he's had in about 3 years. I just think this is his farewell tour. I don't think he plays again after this year, and he may not play again soon. I know personally 100% that Brian Daboll went into the front office and asked if he could start Jackson Dart this week. The coach doesn't believe in him. I just don't think it is. Dallas, on the other hand, looked really good last week. Dallas should have won the game. However, we don't know how that game would have played out had Jalen Carter been playing. I think that would have changed the dynamics a lot last week had he played. So I stayed away from it kind of from those reasons because, again, a divisional game. And especially some sharps were coming in pretty heavy on the Giants plus 5.5. I stayed away. Also, the total moved up a half point. I kind of thought it would go the other way. So if I don't understand it, I walk away from it. But again, that was my lean, was the Cowboys and the under. But given what I saw by the money action, I didn't understand it, so I stayed away.
Sweet. Hey, well, thanks for the question there, Andres. Next on the line, we got Andrew from Dallas. Andrew, good to see you. He wants to know about Kansas City, Philly. He says Dickerson's healthy on the O-line. How bad will the Eagles destroy them?
Andrew, hey, man, good to have you back. Good to see you again, as always. Look, that game is in my notebook. I can't really talk about it. It's really going to be interesting to see how that game, kind of give you two sides to it. Philly returns 10 out of 11 starters for an offense this past week. The only guy that they lost was Mekhi Becton, who went to the Chargers. But and the Chiefs look like they're depleted. Obviously, their tackles didn't perform well last week, and they're out without Xavier Worthy with dislocated shoulder, as well as Rashee Rice on the suspension. But Philadelphia didn't look the same last week without Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. Jalen Hurts did a lot of different things. You can bet for $1 that Steve Spagnuolo will definitely do what Eberflus didn't do last week. He will have a spy, and that will be all over Jalen Hurts, and it might stifle the offense surprisingly. So I could certainly see both sides. I have a clear view on that. I picked it in my notebook. I think this game, if you want a lean that's not in my notebook, I think that I think the total might be a little bit lower than you would expect today, just because Philadelphia is still breaking in the new offensive coordinator, trying to get their offense and get their chemistry right. Will A.J. Brown have more than one target and one catch today? I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure Steve Spagnuolo learned a lot from last Super Bowl. I'm sure this is going to be a different game. It's not going to be the same team. But how will Kansas City perform without their weapons? Be a fun game to watch. Like I said, I have a clear view on it, but certainly wish you the best, Andrew.
Yep. Thanks for the question, Andrew. And should be a great game for sure. Next on the line, we got Kevin on Instagram. He wants to know if J.J. McCarthy can continue his fourth quarter and cover versus the Falcons.
Look, I think J.J. is going to do well just because of KOC, right? Kevin O'Connell, right? I think that you see that in Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold certainly misses him this year in Seattle. I think that, just like, Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's kind of quarterback whisperer. I think that the same thing can probably be tied to Kevin O'Connell with what he's going to do. So I think that J.J. McCarthy's going to continue to do well. He's going to have some bumps here and there, but I think he's going to do well. It should be a fun game, but I like Penix a lot. Penix is far more advanced than J.J. right now, and he can spin it. So I liked when that line was 4.5. I would have taken Atlanta. 3.5, I kind of back away from it, but I kind of lean Atlanta. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Okay. And thanks for the question there, Kevin. Next up, we got Tyler. Tyler says, what do you think about the total in the Bills and Jets game?
Interesting. If I were going to play that game, I would go over the total. I think both those teams will do it. Josh Allen eats up man-to-man coverage, and that's what Aaron Glenn plays. So he's going to eat that up. Look, how bad was the Jets defense last week? I was listening to Greg Cosell. He's a pretty famous quarterback guru, and he was talking about somebody was asking him to evaluate Aaron Rodgers' performance last week. And he said it was really hard for him to evaluate that. And everybody was like surprised. Like, why would it be hard for you? The guy's been doing this in NFL films for 40 years. Why would it be hard for you to evaluate Aaron Rodgers? And he said, because the Jets defense was so bad, they were out of place, they were falling down. It was really tough to evaluate their defense. So I think it's a high scoring game. I think Josh Allen gets his, but I think Justin Fields gets his as well. I mean, the back end of the Bills defense looked really, really slow. And I think Justin Fields will score some points. I think there'll be points to have. Probably regret not putting that game in my notebook. I think that total sells over.
Love it. Hey, well, thanks for the great question there, Tyler.
Good question.
Yeah, appreciate it. Let's keep rolling. These are great questions. We got Grant on X. He says Ravens versus Browns. Browns are getting a lot of points on division game. Good teaser spot play if it's straight up. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think both teaser and straight up. Look, it's 12.5. If it weren't the Browns, if the name wasn't the Browns, I would take it just because it's a division game. I mean, you can't take the Ravens here. Look, it's a natural letdown spot. Lost the Bills. It's going to be probably a slow start for the Ravens. Good spot for the Browns, I think, for them, and certainly a good spot for a teaser. And who knows? Look, the Browns may actually be, halfway decent. I know they're getting Quinshon Judkins back this today, and he is supposed to, from everything I've heard in practice, I know one of the offensive linemen there. He is looking really, really good and is going to be a stud. So I expect him to do really well today. A lot of things for him will help Joe Flacco out. Just can the wide receivers help Joe Flacco out? Again, the time to play the Browns and these older quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, and Matt Stafford's a little bit different animal, but Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco is earlier in the season, because these guys, this is when they have their legs. This is when they're the freshest. You can get some of the older quarterbacks, even in their 50s or older, that can still spin it. But the problem is they don't have the legs anymore. Their legs are gone. And so that's kind of what happens to the end of the season as well, is their legs are gone. But right now they can spin it. I expect Cleveland to give Baltimore a game today.
Sweet. Hey, great question there, Grant.
Yep, great question.
Keep going. We got Andrew. He says Miami secondary is a struggle. He expects points over 42.
Potentially. But I think New England's going to have to do all the heavy lifting. I think that, you're counting on Miami actually scoring. And so that's why I stayed away from the total. I could certainly see it going either way. Could happen for you if you do that. But I think there are better bets on the board today for me.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep it rolling. We got about 4 to 5 questions across X and Instagram about the Rams-Titans game. I know it's in the notebook, but
that one's in the notebook. Should be a really interesting game. I think kind of a lower scoring game. The Rams, I think are challenged offensively, but it feels like Tennessee's challenged even more so. I think Cam Ward's the real deal for sure, but his receivers, he had one of the lowest. I was looking at the bottom 5 QBRs for last week. In order, it was. Let me pull it up for you guys. Boom, 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 boom. It was Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Bo Nix, Cam Ward, and Tua Tagovailoa. So you're kind of in that. And I think the only quarterback in there that I really, really love is I love Cam Ward. I thought he did really good last week. If you didn't watch the game, I know it was kind of a regional game. If you didn't have money on it, didn't watch it, wasn't in your area, you missed out. Cam Ward can spin the ball. His problem was his wide receivers can't hold on to the ball, and that's an issue. So Cam Ward's good. The defense is good. That interior, the offensive line for the Rams looks vulnerable. Jeffrey Simmons is going to be coming up like an animal on that game. I think that certainly the Rams, front seven is amazing. I think that they're going to come after Cam Ward. That's going to be a problem. So again, it kind of leads toward a low-scoring game. I feel really strongly about the side, and I've got that in my notebook, so can't unfortunately talk about that. But look, I think this is one of the most underrated games of the day that I'm looking forward to watching.
Sweet. Well, thanks for the questions, everyone, on that one. Let's keep it rolling. Let's take some questions on TikTok. Everyone wants to hear about Saints and 49ers in that chat. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, look, just remember, everybody's like, that line has come way down today about San Francisco. Look, granted, they've got some injuries, but a lot of it has to do with Brock Purdy. I know George Kittle's out well. Trent Williams is questionable. So you've got Juwan Jennings is going to play, though, but you've got some injuries there. But the big one is Brock Purdy. But just remember that just a few years ago, Kyle Shanahan took Nick Mullins off the practice squad and did exceptionally well with him. He had a flurry of injuries with his quarterbacks. This guy was on the practice squad. He got elevated to third string for injuries and worked his way up because of injuries, and then started. And he won a lot of games with Nick Mullins. So again, and Mac Jones was who he wanted to draft when he initially came out. That was the guy that he wanted. So he's kind of reunited with Mac Jones, who he always wanted in the first place. I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco takes New Orleans the woodshed today. I certainly wouldn't bet on New Orleans. I know it's a real attractive and people are really wanting to bet New Orleans today. I like San Francisco in this game.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for the questions there on TikTok. Let's take a couple more. We got Harrison and O'Donnell on X. He wants a prop question. He says, with Polk leaving New England and the Dolphins having no decent D-backs, what do you think about Booty receiving yards? It's moved from 36 to 42.
Man, I like that. I really do. I think that's a good one. I didn't really look at that. Obviously, I saw the trade, saw that happen. The Patriots are still building up players. I think that's a good prop. Not one of my 2 or 3 top props, but certainly would be up there. I like that one. I think that's a good one.
Sweet. We got a question from Dan on Instagram. He says, who's your survivor pick for the week and how are you doing in Circa?
Yeah. Doing good. I've got 10 picks in Circa this year. I still got 9 alive. I lost 1 last week, stupidly. This week I'll have 9. Of course, I'll diversify them out. Probably my, the 2 strongest picks this week are Baltimore and Arizona, just because of the point spread. Buffalo's not a terrible one, but it's a little bit risky. But my plays would be to lean more toward Baltimore and Arizona.
Okay, sweet. All right.
I don't think you're going to get another chance to play Arizona this year as well. If you kind of look at their schedule, maybe there's going to be some injuries coming up, but do you really trust Arizona? Arizona this week against Carolina is probably the better play. Baltimore, if you're in Circa, you're having to save them. They look like a good Thanksgiving play. They've got Cincinnati on Thanksgiving. Probably why I'd lean toward Arizona this week and save Baltimore.
Gotcha. All righty. Well, looks like we're gearing up towards kickoff. We're about 70 minutes away.
Yep.
Final thoughts before we take off and get to enjoy another week of football?
Yeah, guys, if you buy the notebook today, thank you. But if you do, just know it's ugly. And I love it. I love an ugly notebook. When everybody hates my notebook is when I love it the most. And I love today in my notebook. And I love my picks today, my public plays. Some of you are going to hate those two. I'm taking 2 road dogs. But again, I think Cincinnati gets a lot of love because of Joe Burrow, because we all love Joe Burrow. And I think if you kind of dissociate yourself from that love, you'll see that Jacksonville, those teams are probably close to a pick 'em than a 3.5 point spread. I love that. And, Miami had a players only meeting after 1 week this week, a players only meeting after 1 week. So that tells you what the team looks like. That tells you what the culture's like in New England or Miami. Miami could end up being the worst team in the league, because certainly New Orleans had more fight than them in week 1. So, guys, hey, thanks for tuning in. Let's have a day, and I really appreciate you guys joining in today. As always, guys, let's roll.